Hello and welcome to this video tutorial in which I explain how to edit and use this template. The first thing we will need is a logo, so right click inside this project window, go to import file, navigate to your logo location and then simply double click to import a logo, or click and then hit open. Alright, so this will import our file. Now let's go inside our edit folder, and here you will have a logo holder and a tagline holder. Let's click the first composition, logo holder. I will drag and drop my new imported logo inside the composition and delete the previous layer with the previous logo. Select this layer and press S for scale, and then readjust the scale and maybe the positioning of your logo. Make sure everything is nice and centered. Alright, and the scale and positioning here will affect the look in the final render. Then we will edit our tagline holder, so double click, and here you will have a text layer, and you can double click this text layer to edit your tagline. So edit your tagline like so. This font is Arial and should be available on Windows. Alright, so now if I go back to our render comp, and you can access this through here and double click, you can see that we don't have a tagline. And let's go to our settings first. So inside settings, here you can select tagline on if you want to use tagline, and then you can adjust the tagline positioning using the tagline position options. Alright, so you can kind of see how this works. And of course, if you want to adjust your logo position, go inside your logo holder, and then you can simply drag this up, for example, and readjust your text. And I think this is pretty straightforward. So then we have a fade out here, which is responsible for this fade out in the end. You can see that if I select this settings layer and press U for my keyframe information, there are two keyframes here that make up our fade, and you can also use them in the beginning of the timeline, for example. So if I set a keyframe for 100 for fade out at the beginning, move forward a few frames and then set the fade to 0, you can see that we create a nice fade in, and the fade out is already created. But of course you can remove all the keyframes, set this to 0, and then you will have no fade out. Alright, let's take a look at lining start and end. Alright, let's choose a frame where our lightning lands, and here you can see that if I select the lightning end, you can grab this cursor here. Alright, and you can position this wherever you want, like so. And if I select lightning start and go above here, let's actually just zoom out, you can see that there's a cursor up here at the top, and I can just readjust the positioning here. Right, so you can create a directional lining like so, and you can pretty much create any kind of lining direction that you want. For example, you can even go below, and it's all a matter of adjusting. Make sure you don't place your lining start cursor too close to the edges of the screen, as this will cause a bit of an error. If actually it doesn't make an error here, but just keep in mind for it will be a lot smoother if you just if you keep a relatively high distance between the edges of the composition and the cursor. Alright, so something like this, and if you want to move it to the other side, just keep a relative amount of distance, and this will ensure that everything works properly. Right, let's go into our colors layer, and let's see edge electricity. Let's go forward a few frames. Right, so edge electricity, if I change this color, you can see what this changes. Lining, of course, you can choose the lining color. Let's use a red for this. And if you want more glow, you can use, for example, a more pale color. So you just bring your color more towards the white zone, and that's something to keep in mind. Let's maybe select another frame here, so you can see that If I move the color towards white, this will give you a nice glowy inner glow, as opposed to just having a straight red color, which this is the result of. Alright, so that's something to keep in mind. And let's take a look at this will be the logo electricity. Alright, so you can affect this individually as well. A tagline, so if you use tagline, you can also affect the streak here, the color of the streak. And of course you have the sky option, and you can also tint this as well, as you can see, or you can just make it completely gray by using a 50% black color, which is just gray, and then there's no color. Alright, after you've made all the edits, you just have to go to composition, pre-render, select your file name, and then inside Custom AV here you can click, choose your format. I recommend H264. Inside format options, check profile high and level 5.1. Use target bitrate something like 150 or higher than this if you want higher quality. Hit OK, select audio output if you also want to export the sound effects. Hit OK, hit render, and you're done. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me and I'll reply as soon as I can. So thanks.